How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at The Perfect Date by R.L. Stine. This is book number 37 in the Fear Street series, and originally came out April 1996. And overall, this is a kind of a strange entry in the Fear Street series. It's this guy getting obsessed over this girl, his perfect date, obviously, hence the title. But it kind of reminds me of The New Girl, the very first book in this series. You know, same deal, guy going obsessive over this mysterious figure. And I think The New Girl was a better book, but The Perfect Date is definitely a crazier book. And a lot of the middle is pretty good with some interesting elements, but this is definitely a book that people remember for the very opening and then the very end. I'll try to be vague about it because I don't want to spoil too much for you, but the opening is quite a hook, a very extreme moment, and then the end, like, almost out of nowhere, turns into this all-out horror fest. And yeah, if you guys really like that extreme over-the-top horror, it definitely the ending here. And it's one that people definitely remember the most for that ending scene, A, coming out of nowhere, but B, just how big and over-the-top and far it goes. This book has, albeit an out of the blue, a really great ending, and gotta love it for that. But besides those two parts that people talk about it for, this book does have a really fun snow setting. You know, it takes place in winter, and we also have one of probably the best Fear Street stalkers, the girl with the scarred face. Not only does she have a cool physical appearance, but you actually see her around more than a lot of the other Fear Street stalkers. She does the whole mysterious phone message thing, but she also does show up and spook Brady a lot, so that is pretty cool there. I guess to analyze it further, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot. I'll be avoiding major spoilers, but I do want to take a moment, analyze a few things, and talk about the beginning, you know, so I'll keep it pretty much first half and just be vague about the rest. Anyway, we open up with, like I said, a really iconic hook. It's last winter, and Brady is going sledding with his girlfriend Sharon, and Sharon will wind up dying. I won't say the specifics, but it is a very hard R ending for Sharon there, and it just, yeah, like it comes kind of out of nowhere, because to be honest, it's just a pretty standard, oh, we're going sledding in the winter scene, and at first I thought, this opening's kind of dull. And then we get to the end of the prologue, and it's just like a super crazy moment. Again, I'll stay vague about it, but it definitely hooks you. And then we jump to 1 year later. It goes from last winter to this winter, and Brady is one of the most popular boys at Fear Street High, and he's eating pizza at the local pizza place with his best friend John. And as they talk, we find out that all the girls love Brady, and Brady is currently in a relationship with this girl Allie, but he doesn't think it's quite working out and wants to see other people. Speaking of other people, a new girl walks into the pizza place, and Brady is instantly infatuated with her. He instantly falls in love with her, and he decides to go over and talk, and John goes, not a good idea, you shouldn't do that. John's the character that's going to be right a lot of the time, never listens to him. But anyway, turns out this girl's name is Rosha, and she likes Brady back, and they agree to go on a date. Their first date is to the movies, and as they leave the movie theater, Brady turns and sees the scarred girl underneath the marquee, And I do have to say, I really love this cover on the new edition because it perfectly describes this scene. I really do love when book covers take a literal scene out of the book and put it on the cover. So there's Brady and Rosha, the Marquis, and then there's her looking at him. It's just kind of a shame she's so small you can't see her scars or anything, but also the Fear Street logo has just a little bit of frost on the bottom. I really like this cover. But anyway, like I said earlier, the Scarred Girl's going to be one of the cooler Fear Street stalkers. Again, more of a physical presence, but she'll also call him up and say, stay away from Rosha, she's bad news, but of course, a little too vague as to what exactly is going on. But on the way home from the date, Rosha insists on driving the car. But the thing is, it's Brady's dad's car. It's a nice car. He hardly lets anyone else drive it. And the moment she gets behind the wheel, she's a speed demon. Which, yeah, I get driving fast is fun, but really, don't endanger your life and other people's lives. And she, of course, wrecks the car, and saying that she doesn't have a driver's license, what she mentions now, she runs off and leaves Brady there to take the fall. And that's where I would have left her, but of course he's still obsessed, and he begins to be infatuated. He has this obsession, and he'll be trying to track her down, and she's kind of mysterious, you know. He doesn't know her address or phone number, so he has to do things like call every single Nelson in the phone book, just trying to find her, and she'll disappear for long periods of time and then pop back, and it's like, where are you? I was missing you. And on top of that, though, Allie, obviously he doesn't have the guts to break up with Allie, what he really should do. You know, obviously, you're dating, you're not married, you can break it off at any time, you're under no obligation, but do break it off. Don't just cheat on her, say, it wasn't working, I met someone else, just do a clean break. And of course he doesn't, like every sitcom ever, but the thing is too, in addition to the cheating, Allie is the way better option. She's nice, she tries to take care of him, and the book openly says that she's good looking, it's just Brady's more infatuated with Rosha, and it's like, this girl is so much better than he deserves, and he is totally ignoring her, and yeah, definitely, I guess, Team Allie, right? But he is ignoring her, ignoring John's good advice, ignoring the scarred woman, and is getting obsessed. And I think this is one of those things when you compare this to the New Girl. Some people have criticized the New Girl because Corey will go a little too far sometimes there as well, but the book always kept him as the protagonist. And this book isn't too afraid to shy away that Brady definitely is way too obsessive, and they kind of lean into it more and emphasize it more, you know? He's a womanizer. It was only one summer since his last girlfriend died, and he's already the popular guy at school again. You know, like, it would be more sympathetic if you gave him, like, a couple more years other than just one. Like, if it was freshman year that Sharon died and now is, like, senior year. You know, if they had put more time, but no, he's not supposed to be as sympathetic, you know, and there'll be times where he pushes things way too far, and he steps back and he goes, what the heck am I doing, you know? Like, calling every single Nelson in the phone book, or, you know, just constantly thinking about her, dealing in absolutes, you know, I love Rosha, therefore I must do this, and I can't think any other way. You know, oh yeah, Allie's being nice to me, but I can't, I have to have Rosha, you know, and you really do see his deteriorating mind. And that is also one of those things when comparing it to the New Girl. In the New Girl, you didn't know if the girl was a victim or if she was evil. You know, they kept her really vague. And the thing is, though, even though Rosha in this book is also vague and mysterious, just like the New Girl, the victim here is definitely Brady via his own obsession, you know, and they do kind of emphasize that, and it is something you see a lot in real life, sadly. You know, you get some guy in high school, it's usually his first girlfriend, but man, you do see some people, you know, they're dating someone in high school and it's probably not going to turn into anything significant later in their life, but they're like, you know, any little thing, you know, I have to protect my girlfriend, and it's like, you know, even when they're pointing out like, hey, you know, she's doing something pretty bad, no, and you see that with John too, you know. So anyway, though, vague hints at the end. Like I said, I won't spoil it, so I have to talk pretty vaguely about it. The ending is what a lot of people remember for this book, and partially because it does come out of nowhere with very little hints towards it. I mean, there's one thing, you know, especially with a certain character that you kind of know but don't know exactly how the piece will fit. But then when all the cards finally tip and you see what's going on, you're like, okay, that's pretty big and out of nowhere, but it does lead to an intense, bloody climax that really just goes big and over the top, and it really felt like an extreme, crazy 80s movie, and it really just, I mean, went all hard for this big final moment, and it's, yeah, just super intense and out of nowhere, and yeah, it is out of nowhere, and, you know, a lot of people go, what's with this abrupt shift? That's crazy, that doesn't make much sense. Yeah, it is an abrupt shift. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily make too much sense. But who cares? It's fun. It's extreme. It's crazy. It's a scene that I absolutely loved. Even if it's just kind of bonkers insanity. Yeah, I don't care. That really elevates the book. You know, like I said, overall, Brady is a more flawed protagonist, and he wasn't necessarily the funnest person to follow around. I felt like John a lot, wanting to yell at him. But other than that, though, like I said, the Scarred Woman is a really interesting and different Fear Street stalker. The snow setting is really fun. And, you know, being honest about your main character's flaws there, and, you know, seeing how far it can push and be dangerous for him, that's all cool, in addition to the beginning and end, which really do elevate it. So overall, yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun book, especially the ending insanity, so I definitely recommend it. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you, you really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Fear Street playlist if you guys want to see me talk more about these books. I've covered most of these new single releases. I still need to get to The Confession and Who Killed the Homecoming Queen, so hopefully those will be out soon. But I talked about, I think, all the others, as well as the New Beginning bind-up, or just The Beginning. So anyway, a Fear Street playlist should pop up. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.